what's going on, everybody? Think we're up.
Think so.
Yeah. How's it going? We're back. Back on the OG original channel
Got
over
our
here.
fucking strikes lifted.
Well, one of them. The other one will lift here in a couple of days, but we've got room for error, I guess, now.
Experimentation.
We're not going to get too risky with it on this stream. We're looking at a War album. Let me pull it up here. I got some info. This is just their self-titled War album. The cover itself was Twinsy. Go lay down. Did you let her out? Oh shit. Go ahead and put a song on first. We'll go ahead and put on a song. This is a War album from 1971. I'll talk a little bit more about it here in a minute. We're gonna listen to Sun Oh Sun while we finish getting ready, since we're not ready yet.
screwed up my mind. 6 days you didn't shine. Buy myself a shotgun, try to blow my baby's mind, yeah. Oh son, I believe in you. Son, oh son, I believe in you. Son, oh son, I believe in you. I believe, son, oh son, I believe in you. 6 days you didn't shine, but I still believe. Son, oh son, I believe in you. I believe, son, oh son, I believe in you. Oh son, I believe. Don't you know, I believe.
All right. So I was just doing some research because Discogs has this and let me look. This album and All Day Music as their first albums in 1971, but Eric Burdon Declares War was released in 1970, and that was a year before. And I'm thinking that there was more.
Feels like there was.
It seems like they did 2 or 3 albums in the 60s. I'll have to pull all my war albums. I was just thinking today that since the flood happened, my LPs are all kind of out of sorts.
Yeah.
I had them kind of alphabetized inside of genre before everything happened, and now everything's just kind of, especially the stuff that was in the storage containers, they're just all out of shape. So, yeah, I think I'll do that sometime this week. I'll try to get everything sorted again and get all my war albums. You know, it seems like all my war albums are right there. Let me go take a look real quick. It seems like I got them all right here.
What's going on, y'all? I was left with the rights to stream today. Oh.
Yeah, here's... Okay, yeah, I got all my war albums right here.
He's about to come out with them.
I've got a few. Got a few war albums.
Quite a few. Jesus Christ, here we go.
All right.
And there it is.
Now, if these are still sorted by year, these should be, and they're not. Now that I'm looking at them. Okay, so there's Black Man's Burden, Eric Burdon and War. So this one isn't exactly a war album. It's a collaborative album between Black Man's Burden, or Eric Burdon and War. And what I found, there's been a great divide. Hey, what's up, DJ? There's been a great divide in the war band. It started, I guess, between Lonnie Jordan and the rest of them. Mm-hmm. But Lonnie Jordan doesn't like to give Eric Burdon credit at all. But if you talk to some people, Eric Burdon is credited with giving the war band the name, co-writing a lot of music with them, and co-producing a lot of music with them.
In a way, making the sound.
Yeah, and like I said, the album we're talking about today, their self-titled War album, he's the one that came up with their cover art and everything. So I'm not gonna act like I know the specifics of what happened, but if you ask the Lowrider Band, which is all the former members of War other than Lonnie Jordan, they've split apart from Lonnie Jordan. Apparently, Lonnie Jordan now owns the likeness of War and the title of War. But the rest of the surviving members, the other 4 guys that are still alive, apparently aren't cool with him anymore. And they go by...
Some shit that went down.
They go by the Lowrider Band, and he's been called a snake and probably other bad names. So Lonnie Jordan is still producing War tracks and still pushing the War name, but the rest of the band is now, I think they're still in the works of producing an album or 2, and they're going by the Lowrider Band, which was the next best thing that they could think of that would...
capture people's attention.
Yeah, that would remind people of who they were, because their one of their most notable songs and most memorable songs is the Lowrider song. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so there's Eric Burden in War. You got Eric Burden Declares War, and I believe these 2 for sure are from the 60s. I had this tab up. Let me look real quick. Eric Burden Declares War was in 70. Okay, and then the Black Man's Burden was a year before, so that was 69. All right. And then we got Life is So Strange. We got Platinum Funk, which was only sold and produced in the UK.
Really not as...
it was a disappointment, I'm not going to lie, for us, because we was expecting a funk album, and I didn't really look at the track list too hard, but there's some rehash music, and there's only a couple of new songs on there, but nothing funky, really, on this album.
It's still War, but
it's War.
It's a lot more jazzy.
And I'm glad I got it for, like $20-something bucks for being such a rare album. I couldn't find any in the United States for sale, so
we had to.
I had to order. Yeah, I had to order it from the UK. All right, and the same cover they did for Platinum Jazz,
which is the Americanized,
which
model.
is a very, very good album. Mm-hmm. All of these really are, but Platinum Jazz was a really good album. And you got
like twice the price of Platinum Funk, right?
Right. You got War Galaxy, which was. I believe my first War album, and what turned me on to them.
Yeah, this one is great. Genuinely a good album.
Yeah, this one had Galaxy, Babyface, Sweet and Fight Lady, Hey Senorita, and the 710 Soldiers. So front to back album is fucking fire. All of it.
Definitely a good listen if you're looking to get into these people.
Yep. I got War Outlaw, which was okay. There's a couple of songs I liked on it. It just wasn't my favorite album. War Greatest Hits, which of course is rehash shit, so nothing
it's
special.
It's good, but it's a compilation album.
The World is a Ghetto.
My personal fucking favorite.
Yeah, and this one's got probably more of the more rememberable songs. The Cisco Kid, Four Cornered Room, The World is a Ghetto, and my personal favorite, one of my personal favorite songs from them is Where Was You At, is on this album. Considered one of the first jam bands. They call themselves the first jam band. I think that Sly and the Family Stone was around before them, and I definitely
funk jam.
Yeah, I definitely consider Sly and the Family Stone a jam band. So there's Love Is All Around. I can't remember what all's on this one. Oh, Tobacco Road, Magic Mountain. Dude, Magic Mountain and the Painted Black version of this was really good. I uploaded that. There's fan fave, the All Day Music. I know a lot of people claim that this is their first or their favorite War albums. It does have some really great music for Slipping in the Darkness, Baby Brother, Get Down, That's What Love Will Do. So
definitely a good commercialized album.
The War, Deliver the Word. And I can't remember any of the songs.
No, but I
on
remember
here.
it being fucking good.
Gypsy Man.
Gypsy Man.
Oh, southern part of Texas too, because that one reminds me of my wife, because she was born in the southern part of Texas. And then there's the Still Sealed Greatest Hits 2.0.
Which we have not cracked into.
There's no need to. There's no need to crack it open because they're all
every song pretty
they're
much.
all rehashed songs from other albums. So why crack it open? You know what I mean? Because it's worth more as it sits. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The 14th is sitting over there, and then the 15th we'll be talking about probably next week or the week after, and that's the music band. I'm still looking for part 2 of this. There's a green, I think it was a green cover music band part 2, and these were both released in 1979. So we'll be talking about that soon. That's both of the albums, the War Self-Titled that we're listening to today, and the one that we'll talk about here in the next stream or two, were both bought on my birthday. We're still working through the birthday LPs that I got for myself. We kind of changed the setup here and just kind of doing one LP at a time per stream, just kind of showcasing that LP. I feel like it'll help out on broke weeks when I can't afford to buy more. I have bought more that are down the road we'll be talking about, but I also want to go back through a lot of the stuff that we just ran through, because when we first started doing this, I was buying a dozen or more. I think there was one stream where we had like 30 fucking LPs we went through.
Dude, yeah.
It was ridiculous. And so, it was cool to show them off and be like, hey, I bought all this shit and only spent, like $100, because I was getting them so cheap.
That was before the market.
Yeah, before the market started going nuts. Hey, what's up? What's up, honey? New Gigi Boo Boo. I don't want to put your name out there. I'm not sure if you're trying to be incognito, but good to see you. I know who you are.
That was nefarious.
New Jibu. Fuck, you got me all scrambled now. Yeah, we just ran through a bunch of LPs where we just kind of said, hey, this is what I got, and here's another one, and here's a different one, and here's something else. So I want to go back through and kind of just showcase some of these lesser known bands and stuff like that, especially the ones that are lesser known to me, like Average White Band has kind of become a new fan fave around here, and it was a band I never heard of. And, my parents were into funk, and into this type of music. So for there to be, groups that are that popular and that good that I'm not even aware of, it's cool. It reignites that fire to come back and see if maybe I've overlooked somebody else or somebody else might have slipped through the cracks.
You'd always be surprised how many people we just shove away because we don't like one song we heard from them, even though they may actually have a really good fucking reputation behind them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this Average White Band, I've got several of their albums now already, and every one is just fucking good.
Not to mention Brass Construction as well.
Yeah, Brass Construction, but they just very consistent. They kind of got a particular sound and a particular style, and so far every album I got has been very consistent, and that's stuff that I enjoy. I like consistency with people and groups and styles. You know what I mean? Yeah, chat's getting lit. I guess I can put it back up on the screen. It wasn't nobody talking for a minute. I said, there's no point in having it up there. It just kind of looks sad. So anyway, yeah, I've got well over a baker's dozen of War albums, and I don't think I'm near the end. Let me see, because I've been trying to keep track. I think I have completed my War discography, or I'm very close to it, because I don't see any more War on my album list to look out for. Still got plenty of slides that I'm trying to find. Not plenty, but a few.
It may get to the point where we have to either go too far out of limits or, you know what I mean, order them online.
So yeah, a little bit more on this particular album. Let me get back to it. Because like I said, there's been a division with Eric Burden and the original band. Mm-hmm. And then there's been a big division with Lonnie Jordan and the remaining members who are now called the Lowrider Band. I've tagged all their names, in the tags for the videos. So, anybody that any group or artists that we upload, I try to tag everybody associated with them and all that shit. So, not necessarily just to get more views, but so that everybody gets credit and people that are connected to it actually get their dues. You know what I mean?
Respect and benefits off it.
Yeah. So like I said, this album is from '71. They released All Day Music and the Self-Titled War in the same year,
which we are listening to today.
It looks from Discogs it appears that All Day Music was released before this album, but like I said, Eric Burden did get credit for the artwork. Let me get back in here.
Cool to hear, DJ, by the way.
There it is.
You might want to read that comment.
All right, hang on one second. Let me get... American White or Average White Band is great. I'm sub to a channel that has a chat with a bunch of UK roadies from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and one worked with Average White Band for like 25 years. Great stories from those geezers. Hell yeah, dude. I've always, even when I was much younger, I always really enjoyed hanging out with older guys and, chatting it up, listening to their stories and
learning from their side of life.
Yeah, learning all I could. You always got to respect, people older. My son and I were talking about the other day, and I said, you got to understand that the people that are, really old now are the ones that, the gangster motherfuckers that I looked up to. You know what I mean? Like, we got a bunch of gangster ass grandma and, great grandpa and great grandmas running around. If they're still alive, they're mean as fuck. You know what I mean? So yeah, this new generation likes to call everybody a boomer, but I think the boomers are largely gone. I think they're right. If they haven't passed already, they're right there at the end. So all the old folk, all the people causing trouble in traffic are these gangster motherfuckers that I used to think were cool as fuck. You know what I mean? So we got some really cool ass old people now. You should really check them out and listen to their stories because a lot of them are not much older than we are now. You know what I mean? So anyway, back to that Self-Titled War album. Lonnie Jordan gets credit for playing the organ, piano, percussion, and doing the vocals. Howard Scott got guitar, percussion, and vocals. Harold Brown got vocals, drums, and percussion. Papa D. Allen got the congas, the bongos, percussion, and vocals. And B.B. Dickerson is on bass and does vocals.
Dude, you're passing by Charles Miller on the flute, alto sax, bass
sax,
tenor sax, percussion, and fucking vocals. Yeah. Jesus Christ, Charles.
Lee Oscar on the harmonica and vocals. It's funny to hear Lonnie Jordan take so much credit, man. There was a lot of people, even on day one, that produced this sound. It wasn't just him. And I don't want to be too hard on him because like I said, I wasn't involved in any of the conflicts between the band and what caused their split up. I just hear what's been said after the fact, and I feel like Lonnie needs to give more credit to other people that were a part of it. You know what I mean? Just from a third person point of view. Hang on, DJ. I thought I'd already given you one. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm pretty free with the with the mods, but once you fuck up and lose your rent shits, I don't give them back.
Got a one-time opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm also known to be banhammer Treach on the drama side. So motherfuckers that want to come cause drama, I just will ban. I don't have time. We're not here for clicks and views. We're here for conversation and music. So yeah, let's get back to the album. I need to give my voice a break and take a hit. So let's do the third song on side A, Back Home. I can't really remember which one this one is, what the vibe is, but it's a good 7-minute song, so it'll give us a good break, Hope you enjoy the music. Appreciate y'all hanging out and holding the chat down. Appreciate all y'all, all your contributions, all your comments, everything, man. It gives me those little endorphin shots to the brain, gives me my rewards, Appreciate y'all.
All my dreams don't come true. The life I live is broken too. Down the same narrow road, life itself will never Sometimes I find myself in doubt. I'm looking around trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it all out. this life I live has got to be the only thing for you and me. If only I could get next to you, you know I could love you, baby, through and through. Sometimes I think I try so hard. You know they tell me I try so hard. Can't help myself, baby.
It's hard to know when they're gonna end or come back. Some of their songs will get real quiet. It's kind of like Sly. They'll get real quiet, but still be kind of playing some shit in the background.
That's that 70s workout.
Yeah, and then they come back all of a sudden all hard and shit.
Sometimes that's the anticipation.
But yeah, that's kind of what got me really appreciating their music was when I first got that Galaxy album. I looked them up and that was the idea when they came up with the name. You know, Eric Burden and Lonnie Jordan and the other members who were largely a black group. And Eric Burden, of course, is this guy from the UK, played rock and roll with the Animals. You know, Eric Burden and the Animals. Hang on a second, let me get us on stream here. Yeah, here's this badass dude, you know, rocker from the UK, and you know, just combining with this jam band, and like I said, he's got credit for helping them come up with the name. He gets credit for co-writing a lot of the music. Pretty much every album I've looked at and read into, you know, the credits he's listed in there. I've got a couple of his Animal albums. And I've got Eric Burden. What was the other? He did another band too. Because I got the album, I just can't remember it right off the top of my head. Let me look real quick. Because I'm right here in Discogs. Eric
Burden's name at the bottom.
I got to look in my collection. So there's Eric Burden is Here. That's Eric Burden and the Animals, which I got. Eric Burden and the Animals, Winds of Change. Oh, the Eric Burden Band in 75. So I guess while he was doing work with War in the 70s, he also formed his own, the Eric Burden Band, and I've got that album, Stop. Right. I have released one or two of the songs from that, maybe three. And they're all solid. It's good music. It's good rock music.
T5 is asking if Eric Burden has ever worked with Hendrix.
I would say they did. That they definitely have intertwined and know each other. I don't know if they recorded anything. Let's see. Jimmy plays Monterey. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, they did at least a show together. I see Eric Burden and War featuring Jimi Hendrix in the 1970s, or in 1970. That's an hour and a half long. That popped up on YouTube. It looks like Curious Corn is the channel. So let me pop that.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let me pop the address or the. Yeah, I'll pop that here in the chat for y'all. Oh, I bet you that's a good show.
Save that for
Recorded live at Ronnie Scott's, 47 Frith Street in London. Wednesday, September 16th, 1970.
This is gonna be a hell of a fucking listen.
I'm afraid to play this actually right now.
We'll do a.
Yeah, I'm afraid to just click on that. Hendrix music's very iffy, and it depends if this is recorded off of an album.
We'll do a listen through later.
We're just now back. I don't want to test the theory. I've got the link. You've got the link. Y'all want to check that shit out? But that's a good suggestion there, Tier 5. Appreciate that. It's not uncommon, with all these bands that were active around the same time. They all intertwined, toured together, did all kinds of fucking shows together. And Eric Burden was just a fucking beast, dude. He was just one of those people like Steve Winwood from Traffic that were just out there and probably likely still performing right now. I think Steve Winwood is definitely still performing, and I think Eric Burden is still performing. It's fucking insane. These guys are in their 70s. Well, it was when I last looked them up.
Oh, okay.
When I was listening to their music and reading about them. Let me look it up real quick. Yes, Eric Burden is still performing. He tours with his band. He's back with the Animals. So they're still they're in their 70s, fucking still tearing it up. So yeah, like I said, let me see, because I did say his name, Steve Winwood. Yeah, Steve Winwood is still performing. He's the voice for Traffic. I can't remember.
Looks like his tour is in the East Coast right now, though.
But anyway, yeah, these guys they just do not stop. They were overproducing for their age back then, and haven't stopped. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll get into some Traffic here one of these streams, because I've got just as many Traffic albums as I do War, easily. Or they're neck and neck.
Huge topic.
And I've got several of Steve Winwood's albums on his own. That's good shit. So yeah, I'm not gonna play that right now, but I'm gonna save that. I want to save that for later.
That's gonna be a great listen.
Check that out, maybe in the morning or later this evening. We was gonna jam, and I was like, dude, I just might as well knock this shit out while Jackie's finishing her work up. And it looks like she's about done, so we're gonna be getting dinner ready. We might as well keep this a short, simple stream. We're getting close to 45 minutes.
We were talking about Vibeca during the last song.
Yeah, we're gonna play Vibeca. I like Vibeca.
Vibeca.
I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but I've already uploaded it. A few of you who are fans of the channel probably listen to it. We just listened to the damn song earlier today, and it's just really good. Did you want to? There is an album that we've been kind of floating around that you hadn't shown off yet.
We will save it.
You want to save it? Mm. All right, we've got a special album, very rare, for all audiophiles that we'll eventually show one of these days. You're gonna love it. All right, I guarantee you, DJ Play. Yeah, I knew he was still here. I know DJ Play Nice will appreciate it once we most
likely.
I feel like he will. I feel like he'll fucking appreciate it. He's one of those ones that knows, music history and shit. And that's kind of where I like to have this channel kind of sticking to is appreciating music history and you know, these staples
a lot
from
of
the past.
history and old rock, where like the pioneers of that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, it's impossible to really dig into the music from the past and not hear what you hear today, because almost all of everything you hear that it gets put out, it was inspired by, you know, past music and
sampled.
Completely sampled, just completely stolen from. You know what I mean? So when you start digging into this shit and you're like, holy shit, this sounds so familiar, and you realize that particular tune has way more history than a fucking Pringles commercial. You know what I mean? Like,
fair.
You know what I mean? So, you know, y'all remember, anybody around my age, y'all know how badly they would just rehash songs and like fucking love comedies, you know, and movies and shit. You know, you'd hear these fucking damn songs just get rehashed over and over and over again, and it's like, yeah, that's a good song, but goddamn, dude, I got to keep hearing it in this fucking love scene and then this fucking death scene, and you know, played out in this fucking movie. You know, it's like
fucking Careless Whisper played for 30 years straight.
But you know, if you know your history and you know who the originators of that sound is, you know where it came from, and you can appreciate that it's still being used and people are given, you know, even if they're not paying, you know, rights for it, they're giving homage to the original creator by keeping that idea and that sound alive. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate that. So anyway, without much further ado, we got Vibecca on our way out. We're going to keep this one as short and sweet. You know, try to keep it 40. Oh, it's already 45 minutes. So
that's around
well under an hour. And we're going to try to stick to the schedule, guys. We're back on the original channel. So we're going to try to be consistent.
Hopefully no more copyright strikes.
Hopefully no more haters striking our channel and shit. And, you know, like I said, please donate to save the Treach Shiftskin original channel. Donate to any of your choice of charities, and just donate in honor of our channel to keep it alive. That's all we ask for. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can take the credit if you need to or whatever. Just say, you know, this is, you know, this, we're donating this and this is why, because we want to keep Treach Shiftskin channel, comedy channel, or music channel alive. Fuck the comedy channel. I don't give a fuck about that. Keep the music channel alive. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know, haters gonna hate. But all we can do is keep trudging on and try to make the best of what's going on in our lives, right? And what's going on around us. So, much love. DJ Play Nice, thanks for coming back. Dude, I think he was here on our first stream. I think he'll be here on our last stream. So, Tier 5, New G-Boo, appreciate you. I know who you are. I know who all of you are. I got your IPs. I was playing. Yeah, appreciate y'all for hanging out and keeping the chat lit. We're gonna go ahead and play Vibecca on our way out. It's, you know, it's a great tune, and we just might do a Thirsty Thursday tomorrow. You know, you never know. You never know. Knock out another one of these birthday albums and get them out of the way. I think we're having buffering issues out the blue. So hey, that's a good time. Good time to switch on out. Yeah, Vibecca, War. Much love. See y'all either tomorrow or next week.